What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Some fun stuff to talk about today. As we saw, finally Lawbreakers, the developers for Lawbreakers, Boss Key, announced a new game, and then they're releasing it the next day. Today, they announced it yesterday and they're releasing it today. It's kind of crazy, and it did seem to be a little controversial with the player base out there who saw this more as a bandwagon jump than anything else. We're going to go over that. Believe it or not, Twitch is actually attempting to play through Mario Odyssey through commands in the chat. And they're getting a little further than you might originally think how far they can get. It's kind of impressive, actually, where they are right now. And we have to talk a bit about Ys 8 getting its PC release date, and GTA 5 continues to just smash records completely. It's insane. We're going to talk about all of that and more, guys. Let's get started. So Boss Key developed Lawbreakers. Lawbreakers didn't do that well. In fact, it seems to have lost money. Nexon wrote it off completely, and Boss Key did tell us they don't have the funds to turn it into a free-to-play game right now. They're going to kind of leave it where it is, make updates as needed, but they seem to be talking about another game in the background, one that they wanted to share with us but couldn't at the time, and now they can. This was announced yesterday. It's called Radical Heights, and it is a Battle Royale free-to-play game. Yeah, it's free-to-play. Now, that's probably a good thing, believe it or not, as they tend to have issues with something. Lawbreakers was kind of an archaic gameplay style. It was something you buy into, and that's it. And I know it doesn't sound archaic, but it kind of is now with things like free-to-play really taking over. Fortnite free-to-play is making obscene amounts of money. We just talked about it yesterday. The mobile version of it made $15 million in less than 30 days. That's insane. So here comes Boss Key. They need to make money. They come up with this game that is free to play, that is Battle Royale, and people are kind of seeing it as bandwagon jumping based on their like to dislike on their trailer. Now, the one good thing about this is people are talking about it. There you go, right? There is at least interest one way or the other in this game, something that Lawbreakers couldn't seem to get over that hurdle, get people really interested in talking about it. This one, they are. Now, this game is free to play and it's out today. You can actually go get it in early access on Steam. It appears to only be on PC for now. I have a feeling they're going to be looking towards things like maybe mobile phones because it's very lucrative there, or at least the different consoles. Now, I don't know when they would be moving there, as they appear to just be on PC for this foreseeable future right now. They are self-publishing this. It appears that they started development on this about 5 months ago based on their Twitter post. They actually put the entire press release out for everyone to see publicly because they're self-publishing it, so they kind of make the rules. So based on their description of this game, it appears to be a Battle Royale game type mixed with a game show. Now, as you go through, rules will change, different things will happen on the fly, and you gain money that you then use to spend on weapons or cosmetics or different items in the game. So you do have a bit of a progression there, but I need to see more of it. I'm actually going to check it out today and play it. Anyone can. Honestly, at this point, it seems to be a 6 to 7 gigabyte download, and then you're off and running. System requirements are medium to low, I guess, based on what we use now. So it doesn't seem that bad. I will check it out, though. I might even do a little bit of a video maybe later on today, checking it out just to see how it plays. I'm curious to see what they could come up with this 80s-inspired Battle Royale game show mode. But we're going to see where this goes because Boss Key obviously needs to make money on a game. They didn't on Lawbreakers. This seems to be their best bet. Battle Royale modes are popular right now. It's free to play, so they'll get a player base by default pretty much. And of course, microtransactions. They have a founders pack that they're selling now. All of those things can go together and probably make them more money than what Lawbreakers tried to. So we'll see where this goes. Just know you can download it now. It's called Radical Heights. It's on Steam Early Access starting today. Next up, let's talk about Mario Odyssey because Twitch is attempting to play it. Now, you might be wondering what I'm talking about. What is Twitch Plays? Well, Twitch Plays is when the chat gets together and they attempt to play through the game using commands in chat. So if they press up or they all type up, there is a full voting system that takes place in the background, and then Mario will run forward, or he'll jump if you say jump. This is something they did a while ago with Twitch Plays Pokemon. They actually played all the way through Pokemon Red, and that was pretty impressive, but keep in mind, it's a slower paced game. You might be thinking, oh, well, that's a game that, not a lot happens on screen, not a lot of reflexes or anything going on. Mario is a bit different, and that is correct. It is different, but they also managed to beat Dark Souls. That took about 43 days, so it took a while, and they had to do some changes. For example, they would pause, and then the vote would go through for what happens on screen, but they did it. It took 904 deaths. But they did it. Mario Odyssey, though, is a little harder because it is a very fast-paced, quick game that involves a lot of platforming. What's interesting, though, is they've managed to get through Well, to the Sand Kingdom already. Last night, they actually made their way to the Sand Kingdom. That means they beat at least 2 bosses, and they got through the Cascade Kingdom. So they are actually moving along. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that they've moved along this far, but they are. And it's very interesting to watch because, of course, you have some people trying to kind of ruin what's happening on screen. But the idea is a social experiment where everyone's supposed to try to work together. A lot of times you get people trying to troll and ruin it in the beginning, and then they kind of give up, and eventually everyone does at least try to get it done because they go, well, now we need to try to make this an accomplishment more than anything. And I think they're going to do it. I can't believe it, but I think it's going to happen. The Twitch stream goes on constantly. You can go over there and check it out whenever you want, just see where they are. And I'll leave a link to that entire stream if you want to go check it out. It's in the description down below. Next up, let's talk about GTA 5, a game that you might recall, I always say, will never go away in the sales charts. Whenever you look at like the European sales charts, what's there? Grand Theft Auto 5. Whenever the NPDs come out, we always seem to see Grand Theft Auto 5 in there. And, well, it's that powerful. It has now earned $6 billion. That I'm not kidding, $6 billion. They've crossed the 90 million mark for units sold. And of course, the revenue also includes all the microtransactions and everything that they continue to make now. I don't know why they would make Grand Theft Auto 6. They just keep making money. Now, you may see that number as being massive, and that's because it is. And according to MarketWatch.com, who posted all the statistics and everything, that $6 billion trumps even Star Wars, for example, that made $3 billion, and Gone with the Wind that also made more than $3 billion after inflation. This is absolutely mind-boggling how much money this one game has made. They put up a bunch of charts and everything just to show it is absolutely amazing. And this game just seems to keep selling. It's not really even slowing down at this point. They even compare it to things like Black Ops or Modern Warfare 3, both of which sold 24 million and then 26.5 million. Not even close to the 90 million that GTA 5 has made. And it seems to be, again, something they want to do is probably 100 million. That is probably a goal they've set for themselves at this point, being only 10 million away. So don't be surprised, I guess, if you see it show up on the Switch, because it's another place to make money from, and it should run as it ran on the 360 and the PS3, sure, with lower frame rates and everything, but it still ran, and I could see it running on the Switch. So I'm kind of looking at that as, okay, if they can get it to run on the Switch, but it sounds crazy. But if they could get Grand Theft Auto 5 to run on something like mobile phones as well, get out of the way, right? Look out, because we saw San Andreas and those kind of games on there, and it did well, but Grand Theft Auto 5 would be insane. Mobile technology is getting to that point where it probably could run on something like an iPhone X or iPhone 10 or any of the newer Samsung phones. So yeah, Take-Two is doing pretty well. They're not hurting for money at all, and I mean, I get why they're taking their time with Grand Theft Auto 6, but with these numbers, I don't really know if they even need to make it other than just continue to support the multiplayer aspect. I would like to see some single-player stuff too, though. That'd be kind of nice. Next up, let's talk a little bit about the indie world on the Nintendo Switch. The developers of Kimiko, that's Fly High, they announced that Kimiko did pretty well. 200,000 units have sold on the Nintendo Switch alone for Kimiko, which is pretty good. It was about a $5 game. It's kind of like almost the game that looks very similar to like Zelda, but it did well. 200,000 units for a game that was made by a couple people is very impressive. And to celebrate that, they're going to release a collection that you may have seen on the 3DS. So Fly High Works is going to be releasing the Fair Rune Collection. Those were games that were on the 3DS, 1 and 2. No word on when they're releasing these, but it just seems that, hey, I mean, Kimiko sold well. We'll bring those games over from the 3DS, and they'll probably do well too. It's a collection, no pricing that I've seen or release dates for these, but if you're a fan of them on the 3DS, just know that they are showing up at some point in the future. Again, it also shows just how well indie games are doing. If Kimiko can sell 200,000 units, that's pretty good. I mean, if you take the $5 and that, yeah, that's a million there minus whatever Nintendo takes from them. I guess it's 20 to 30% probably. Either way, that's a good bit of revenue for a small team like that. And yeah, it's going to have indies flocking to the Switch. Nintendo, again, just has to be careful about what they let on the Switch, because when it starts to get crowded, it can get kind of dangerous and you can kind of get lost in the shuffle. So I hope Nintendo understands that and maybe picks at least a little more strict as to who they pick for indie games. But at least for now, it seems to be working until maybe it gets overcrowded. But we'll revisit, I guess, indie games and sales probably 2 or 3 years from now, just see how it compares to the first year. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Ys 8, as it did finally get a PC release date, and it's much sooner than you think. Usually we get these announcements and it's out like, a month from now, 2 months from now. It's out next week. It's coming April 16th, and they announced this on their Twitter account. And I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. Now, they talked about how they were having some development challenges when they were working on it, moving it over to the PC version, to the point where it's technically the last game to get a release date, although it will be out before the Switch version. It did finally get its release date well after everything else. But what's great here is if you were looking forward to it on the PC because maybe you want to max the settings, you want to play 4K at like 144 frames or whatever, you'll be able to do that soon enough. And I'm very happy to see that they got everything figured out. The localizations and the scripting and everything, they changed everything up because they didn't like the original localization, the original script and everything that they used. That all is going to be included in the PC version as well, much like what was updated on the PS4 and the Vita version and what's coming to the Switch version with that localization. So great there. Awesome if you're a PC fan because you'll be able to play Ys 8, a game I know a lot of people on PC have been waiting for. You'll be able to play it starting next week, and that is really exciting. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, guys. It really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Lawbreakers, Boss Keys, their new game, Radical Heights. I want to know what you think about it. Maybe you have had a chance to play it, maybe this morning or maybe at some point today when you're before you're seeing this. Let me know what you think about the game so far. It is free to play, so you can go check it out. But we'll see if it's something that can kind of stand up for a little while, unlike Lawbreakers, which kind of fell off pretty quick. At least this is free to play, so it should get at least a decent player base for a little while now. Also, let me think about the ridiculous sales of Grand Theft Auto 5. It seems like nothing's stopping this game. It's going to keep making money, and it almost makes me wonder if there is a point to GTA 6 in the near future. Maybe they hold it off until like the PS5 or the Xbox 2, because they have Red Dead coming out, so why do they need Grand Theft Auto 6 anytime soon? And then also let me know what you think about Twitch attempting to beat Mario Odyssey. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think they can get to the end, or do you think they're going to get stalled or stuck somewhere and they're just going to have to quit? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.